23 million face working until they drop. Malcolm McLean, of financial planner Barnett Waddingham, said, "The days of looking upon 65 as the retirement age are clearly over. How we work and retire nowadays has got to be very different from those of our parents and grandparents." This is the second year that the number of employees expecting to work beyond the age of 65 has risen, according to new research by insurance broker, Canada Life. It now stands at 72%, 5% higher than last year and an 11% increase on 2015. Almost a fifth of people also expect to still be working in their mid to late 70s, the research found. 9 in 10 workers blame the rising cost of living as the main reason they expect to work beyond 65. Also, baby boomers have been hit by poor returns on savings, and plunging annuity rates means many face living on a meager pension. But, if Britain employed more older people, it could pump as much as £180 billion a year back into the economy, a report from economists at PwC found. Mr. McLean added, "Obviously it shouldn't be a case of work until you drop, but certainly work for as long as you can. Most people are not going to have the sort of gold-plated final salary pension schemes available to them that their predecessors enjoyed, and they are almost certainly going to have to wait longer for the state pension to be paid to them. In these circumstances, it makes financial sense to stay and work either full-time or part-time to benefit from the wages, plus the opportunity to save more and/or build up a bigger private pension in the run-up to retirement." Keith Richards, chief executive of the Personal Finance Society, said, "The general retirement age of 65 was established many years ago, but financial advisors now plan for life expectancy up until the age of 100. The fact is, people are living longer and will inevitably need more money to sustain themselves in older age. Returns from high street savings accounts are virtually non-existent, and with inflation set to rise while interest rates remain low, it's perhaps unsurprising that people are working long past the formal retirement age." Mark Haley, of the Pension Review Service, added, "Increasingly, it seems the 65 cutoff for retirement is just too soon. Many people like their jobs and want to keep earning. Going to work is also a great way of keeping active and engaged. Accessing your pension later in life is also no bad thing, rewarding workers with a higher income when they decide they have had enough of the 9 to 5. Former Pensions Minister Baroness Altman added, "It's really important that older people can keep working if they want to or need to. Not only should this improve their living standards and pension, it can also boost the economy. We don't want to force people to work on if they are not well enough. But many enjoy part-time work as they get older to ensure they have ongoing social interaction and extra money to spend or save." The state pension age is currently 65 for men and is gradually increasing for women from 60 to 65. By October 2020, it will go up to 66 for both men and women before rising to 67 by the end of 2028. While the employment rates of 55-64 and 65-69-year-olds have improved, Britain lags behind many other countries when it comes to older people in work. There are considerable differences in employment rates of older workers across the country too, ranging from 75.3% in the southeast, to 63.2% in Northern Ireland. The Canada Life survey had questioned more than 1,000 employees and found opinions were divided about Britain's aging workforce. More than a third, 36%, think older people will need to retrain or learn new skills to stay in work, but 4 in 10, 41%, believe that having a mix of older and younger workers can be beneficial for both employees and employers alike. John Hawksworth, chief economist at PwC, said, "The UK needs to pick up the pace in increasing employment for older workers. We need to keep up with the likes of Germany, which has climbed the rankings from 21st to 14th place in our Golden Age Index over the past 10 years. The UK has slipped from 20th to 21st. There are clear economic gains to be made from getting more over 55s into the workforce and, with automation advancing, it's important we ensure older workers are able to participate fully in the UK jobs market." A work and pensions spokesman said, Older people have a lot of life skills and experience to offer the workforce and are a major asset to employers. Case study: 1 blacksmith Fred Harris, 90, is still forging iron in his workshop, working 4 hours a day, 6 or 7 days a week. Thought to be Britain's longest-serving blacksmith, he fixes steam engines and aircraft at his family-run workshop in Burford, Oxfordshire. The great-grandfather Alf 8 claims he will never retire from the job as he would be bloody miserable if I gave up, because he enjoys getting out of the house and speaking to people. He said, "I enjoy the work too much to ever stop, and I've been running the business for 60 years this October. I'm 90 now. My goal is to reach 100 and still be working." Case study 2 Neil McWood, 67, left his full-time job in communications several weeks ago, and promptly set up his own communications consultancy. The father of 3 now runs his business out of his home near Battle, East Sussex, working at least 3 days a week with no plans to fully retire. He said, "I'm striving for a work-life balance after working full-time for 48 years, but I have no intention of stopping completely. I want to keep working. It keeps me in touch with people and places, and I feel I have a lot to bring to the party. Working for myself gives me more freedom." Case study 3 Arthur Goulding, 84, began working on the checkouts at Sainsbury's in Filton, Bristol, 19 years ago, after the death of wife Eileen, 65. The great-granddad of 4, who works 2 days a week for a total of 16 hours, said he doesn't do it for the money, but just likes the routine. He said, "When Eileen died, the doctor advised I get a job because my home would be empty and I'd be alone. And why shouldn't I work? I still get 5 days off a week. It's been very good for me and I've learned many new skills. I have no reason to quit. It gives me a routine. I wake up 2 days a week at 6 a.m., put on my uniform and get ready." Comment: James Innes, careers consultant. It is undoubtedly true that the cost of living, poor returns on savings and the pressure on existing pension schemes are responsible for more people finding themselves working beyond 65, but this isn't the only narrative to consider. The global increases in life expectancy and general health improvements in that age group mean that there is a greater number of people both willing and able to work later in life. A whole host of organizations can benefit enormously from hiring or retaining people aged 65 and over, with their wealth of skills, knowledge and experience. Bringing different generations together can really invigorate the workplace. And it also gets people thinking from different perspectives. Let's not forget, retirement as a concept is still relatively new. Back in 1880, almost 80% of men in America were still in the workforce at the age of 65. A century later, in 1990, this figure had fallen to 20%. So it is not all bad news. If you do find yourself in the position of needing to find a job, and you are in the 65+ age bracket, there are several ways you can increase your chances of success, starting with your CV. Here are some of my top tips. Cut out the older stuff. You may have 40+ years experience, but recruiters do not need to know your entire life history. Information from the past 10 years is usually sufficient. Keep the CV to a maximum of 2 pages. Any longer and recruiters will just lose interest. The top third of the first page of your CV is prime real estate, so make sure that the highlights of your career can be found there. This should include a really strong professional profile where you can showcase and summarize your skills and expertise. Focus on achievements rather than tasks. Recruiters like to see how you have made a difference in your previous roles, not just what your routine tasks were. The other really important thing to consider is the LinkedIn website, arguably one of the most popular recruitment tools which is out there. You can pretty much guarantee that most job seekers will already have a strong LinkedIn presence of their own, so getting your own profile completed and posted, and keeping it up to date, is absolutely vital. Use this to build your contacts network and also to search for the latest job opportunities. It could make all the difference. Good luck.